Hello everyone. So thank you for watching the different videos in this channel, and welcome again to my channel. So basically we'll be doing a continuation of the previous video about Java arrays. Okay. So I mentioned there that there is a practice problem here on screen. Create a program that will instantiate 10 elements of an int-type array by user input and display the elements of an array and compute and display the sum of all elements. So this first part, we already have done it in our previous video. I'll put the link of the previous video in the description so that you can watch. Okay. So what we will need to do is we will modify the code there to compute and display the sum of all elements. Okay. So let's go back to our code. So this is our code. We basically started with scanner and then instantiating the array with array length 10. And then this part here, ito yung parang to populate the array. So we will be populating it using user input. Okay, so we basically use for loop. Ayan, then system.out.println. Ayan. We will be asking the user to input. So we basically put prompt message, so enter element i+1, so that means the first element in index 0 will be enter element 1. Okay. However, it will be stored in index 0, and then the loop iteration will go on from index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6, index 7, index 8, index 9, up to index 9. Okay? And then in this part here, this is the code for printing the elements of an array. So we basically print the elements, and then this is the code for printing the elements. So we do have still for int I equals to 0, I is num.length, then I++, and then the content of the loop body. So as I mentioned in the previous video, that int I equals to 0 is basically it's the same with the previous for loops. As I mentioned, you can actually utilize it again on the different looping. Just make sure that the instantiation and declaration of the loop variable is within the for header, so that you can still use the same loop variable on a different for loop. So this is the loop body. We basically just want to print each elements of the array. So it will be it will increment the index. So the loop iteration will start from index 0 and then print the element in index 0 and then increment I and then print the I will become 1 and then print the element of index 1, okay, and then up to index 9 and then print the element of index 9. So we basically you just put if else here to validate to remove the comma on the last element. Okay, so we just want to remove the comma of the last element. So our if condition here, if yung I po, the loop variable, is not equal to num.length minus 1, that means 9, index 9. Kasi yung last element natin is index 9. Okay? So pag 0 to 8 siya, it will print a comma. And then, that means pag naging 9 na siya, so it will not print a comma because it is already the last number. So we'll be try to run this code. Okay, so our goal here is to sum up or compute the sum of the entered elements and then display the sum. So for now, ito pa yung code natin, which is to populate muna the array and then print the elements of an array. So later on, we will be modifying the code to compute the sum and display the sum. So let's run just to show you the output. You can also view the video, the previous video. So let's input 89, 78, 56, 45, 11, 100, 50, 55, 30, 23, and 20. Ayan. So we basically entered elements and print the elements here. And what we want to do is to basically compute the sum of all of these elements and display the sum. Okay? So what we basically need to do is we need to declare a sum variable which will be initialized to 0. Okay? If you have watched the examples of computing the sum in the I believe it was in do while, okay, or in for loop. Okay, I'll just put the description, the video link in the description of the discussion of the sum, okay, of the sum, computing the sum of from 1 to 10 kasi using for loop. Hindi pa natin nagawa yun sa array, and that's what we're going to do now, which is to sum up the entered values. So we'll be using int sum here, okay. And then initialize it with 0. So we declare sum is equal to 0. And then what we just need to do is just put one line in our populating the array for loop. So sum plus equals to num I. So that means you are adding sum is equals to sum plus num I. Okay? So, ang ginagawa dito is, let's say, yung first iteration natin na int 0, no? So, 0, yung sum natin is 0. So, I natin is 0. So, 0 plus, let's say the input element is 10. So, 0 plus 10 is equals to 10. So, the new element of sum is 10. Okay? And then, mag-iterate na naman. So, the sum of the new value of sum is 10, and then let's say the entered element ng index 1 is, let's say, 50. So 10 plus 50, the new element of sum will be 60, and then iterate naman yung for loop. Okay, until such time na mag-end yung for loop. So ito po yung line sum plus equals to num, and then you'll write inside the square bracket the loop variable. Okay? So, yan lang. And then, we just need to put here we just need to put a message to the sum of all elements. Yes, and then plus sum. Ayan. So the sum of all elements is, and then plus, then sum. Ayan. So let's try to run our code. So let's see, 10, 20, 30, 55, 99, 56, 1, 78, 90, and then 44. And then, yan. So, the elements of the array, ito. And then, the sum of all elements is 483. You can validate that on a calculator if correct, but it's actually correct. Okay? Yun. So, that was our code to get the sum of all elements. Ayan. So, I'll just browse it down. Okay, navigate it down. So, you can pause if you want. Okay, so that ends our discussion of the example or practice problem of populating the array with 10 size array, and then printing the elements, and then computing and displaying the sum of arrays. So thank you for listening, and you can watch the different videos in this channel related to Computer Programming 1.